Live stream. Ain't nobody here.
Said nobody's here. A few people in here.
I said, we not on the screen.
Huh?
I'm not on the screen. They can't see me.
I'll make sure they can see you, Armel.
Damn. Damn. Y'all can see me. Y'all hear me? Here we go.
They can see you now.
The three wise men are here. How y'all doing? We got Shannon Ewan. We got Silverback Tactical. We got T for Texas. Who else in here? Come on, bodies. Come on in. We got a good show for y'all. We got a good show for y'all. Where's Skilly at? Skilly coming?
They
Skilly coming
should
because I
be.
want to make sure Skilly has a he don't pay all that money for that Ring doorbell no more.
Silverback. You get that your prize? Should have gotten it last week, I think.
Silverback. Uh Grand Life AJ, what's up?
What up, Jason?
Jason, howdy doody. I was watching this that show, man. I finished it. What is it called? Fallout. That shit was dope.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just finished that last night.
Yeah, I watched that Fallout show. I know
Yeah.
Roblox said something about that Civil War movie. I'm gonna go check that out probably tomorrow at lunchtime.
Yeah, I check it out when it get to bootleg.
I haven't had the opportunity to go to the movies in a really long time. In a really long time, man. Grand Life AJ, what's up? Yay, everybody. We're gonna talk about home security, yo. Home security. This may be a boring topic to others, and but this is something that in the backstory, everybody know that while I was in the military, I was a CB, and a lot of things we did was embassy facilities, and to this day I do facilities management, and part of facilities management is managing the physical security of the complex or the building, and that's just one layer of it. And so when it comes time for making sure that these, whether it's residential, where we have to make sure that that we turn some residents and have secure areas like skiffs in the apartment for some VIPs who may have special privileges. We have to retrofit these apartments for these skiffs, or sometimes we have to put in extra layers, install extra layers of security within their lease. So it might be they may lease an apartment, but we may lease three apartments for them and manage it for them. So over the years, almost 30 years of doing this crap, I have a little bit of insight on it that I want to share with some of you guys. And so I know this stuff a little bit like Joe know guns. you know. So yeah, man, we just looking.
Keep talking, Armel. Keep talking.
Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna go over some security features because I heard Skilly talk about the Ring doorbell, and I know a lot of people use their wireless cameras like these around their house as their primary, the wireless web features as their primary means of home surveillance. And there's a lot of, and that's excellent, but there's a lot of layers to it. And security is not a foolproof thing. Security is just to buy you time and distance. It's like your situational awareness. The more aware you are, the more time you have to hear that person, or to hear the intruder, the home invader, or whatever, the burglar or whatever. You hear it, you can prepare for it, and it's going to help you before, during, and after an intrusion. a burglary or a home invasion. You know what I mean? So another important thing is our dependence on the internet and electricity. And there's very inexpensive ways that we could take these measures and create a measure of so our internet so it works beyond our internet and works beyond electric power failure. And there's also like really low tech things like we're going to go over, like using leveraging our landscaping, our plants, our flowers, uh, our fences, our leveraging little small things like that. Our grounds, our landscaping. Other things are our doors, our door vulnerabilities, and how we can reinforce that. So that's some of the things we're going to talk about. Digital mesh networks, yep, or even redundant networks that we can use that as well. So we're going to talk about all. We're going to try to touch bases on as much of that as possible. And if we forget something, please feel free to input. You know what I mean? Please feel free to input.
What's going on, Brian?
What's up, Brian? Guns don't argue. What's up?
The guns don't argue.
Brian Glenn.
Yeah, BG. That's my boy right there.
Brian Glenn. That's what's up. Yeah. So yeah, because I know a lot of people. Yo, this a lot of people. I know a lot of people. Of my friends and maybe some of your friends talk about all of this night vision crap and seeing in the dark. You know what I mean? And that's a considerable investment with a pair 14s. Well, I don't know what the heck the nomenclature for them are, but a lot of that in regular everyday scenario might be a little overkill. You know what I mean? Unless you're doing an offensive operation or something, but just regular home security for just everyday people that you build it out according to what you may need. Uh, it might be unnecessary, especially with some like cheap stuff like night lights, but motion sensors on them that you plug into the wall. I think they sell those at the dollar store or whatever.
Yeah.
that is excellent, because you don't. So a lot of us have these firearms, and you don't want to be shooting in the dark. But if you have these night lights strategically located throughout your house, the night lights are turned on. You can see what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? It'll aid you in visual aid. What's up, dude? Knowledge. Yeah, it'll act as a visual aid for you in your own house, or even motion detectors outside of your house. You know what I mean? So we're going to go over some floodlight cameras, and a lot of the floodlight cameras have motion detectors on them. So when somebody crosses a particular threshold, you can program it with your phone. When somebody crosses a particular threshold, it'll flood it with light. You see what I'm saying? So you don't have to depend on your weapons mounted flashlight and pointing the gun at everything that moves. You know what I mean? Because you have maintained visibility. So the whole purpose of security is to maintain sight, you maintain sound, and you control the sight, you control the sound, and even the smells are even so you can control the situation. The more sensual control you have over the situation, the more control you have over the situation. If I can articulate that better. But yeah, what's up, y'all? Say something. Help me out. Big Riz, what up?
Yeah. So one thing about motion cameras and external cameras. So some of them you gotta be careful with the sensitivity because they'll give you false alarms with cats, with if you have trash that's out there in the vicinity and something goes over. So the lower end ones, they might trip on everything and they might not trip on anything. So we have to be aware of that. IR cameras, one thing we have to know is that everything can be defeated, right? So we have to know what the vulnerabilities are and everything else. Then we also have to identify what it is we're trying to protect and also identify whether we're trying to prevent people from getting in or prevent people from getting out. And that's a whole nother thing, but it goes to your organization and what you're doing and everything else. you know, like you said, plants and shrubbery and everything else, you can use that. That can either enhance your security posture or it can detract and deter from it based on one, what type of plants you got them, where you have them at. They can also create blind spots as you're going or ingressing and egressing stuff. Depend upon the footprint of your facility, house, building, she shed, whatever it is, all that stuff matters. You want to minimize blind spots. You want to minimize choke areas, and you want to minimize funnels. So,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and also you have like a smart house, you use smart things or any of that stuff, you know. Nah, come on, don't shake your head. What I'm sitting there
Nah, I'm
saying
just looking
is
at something
programming certain lights and stuff like that to come on. You know,
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I do. I program lights, you know, to come on to do different things or whatever, you know, and I can switch these up, you know, so it's not like you know, someone would know if we're here or if we're not here because it's just random.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
so I
one
mean,
thing-
that's what I do.
I'm sorry. One thing about the smart lights and everything else, we have to be careful of that because as a guy, as a practitioner of Penal Code 211, we study, we observe, and all other good stuff. So if I notice that your lights are going on all the time at the same time, and you know the lights in room one is going on at 9:05, they go off at 9:10. The lights in the kitchen come on doing this, and the radio's playing at the same time. It gives me a pattern of life. Granted, most of your thieves aren't going to sit down there and study and case a joint that long and everything else. So, you know, but some thieves are smart. They notice patterns. We all notice patterns in life, right? So again, with the smart networks and the Internet of Things and your digital mesh networks and all other stuff, keep in mind you're letting something in. It's not a closed network. So if I'm going through one of the big companies that provides, you know, all these fancy cameras, I'm letting something into that network and it can be hacked. It's an easy access point. So just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind if you're relying mainly on Wi-Fi stuff, I can trap, isolate, and kill that connection.
Facts.
Or I can take over that connection.
Facts.
Because,
yeah, you can.
Because one of the things that a lot of people fail to realize is once I get my home router and modem, there's two passwords. There's a factory default password on there. Then there's a factory reset default password on there. Most people don't go in and change that.
Let me add on to that, Joe, real quick. One of the things with our main cable providers is our cable service is located outside of our house in those little green things outside of the house, and they can just walk up, pull it off. Your home. I'm not a thief, but I can kill you in your own house without going in there. But a lot of the cable enters the house from the main in the street, and it's divided up.
Sit down in nodes.
It's sitting out there. It's sitting out there in your yard with the daggone green cover over it most of the time, or with the little handhold cap with a bolt that you could just kick and knock over. And all they got to do is plug anything $2 thing from the dollar store, coaxial thing, and they all into your shit. Or if they know what they're doing, or they could just cut it totally and you blind.
They just cut it.
They just cut it totally and you're blind.
Yeah, just splice in. So the problem with that is if they're running fiber optics, it's hard to splice fiber optics because you're
that hard, bro.
Well, for the average person, it is.
Just, all they need to do is cut it and they're dead. Yeah. All they got to do is cut it.
I'm talking about tapping into it and taking over your system.
No, you need to disable. They just want to disable the system. All they got to do is cut it.
Yeah, just cut it. That's it. Yeah. They ain't tap. Nobody is coming to our house to tap into. Maybe your house, Joe, but the average house, they're not coming to tap into your shit. They're going if they're going to cut your shit or want to disable your stuff, they're going to cut something.
Hey Ray, I'm tapping in your shit. I'm tired of paying for OnlyFans. I just want to see you with a hat on.
No,
say what?
They're just going to cut. They're just going to cut your cable box. So make sure that thing, that little box out there, that little round thing in front of your house, is secure in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Also, with that being said, you should have some mechanism or way for to tamper proof it to see if it's been tampered with, because it can be secured, but they can also tamper with it and resecure it. Same thing they can to put in a skimmer, a credit card skimmer on a gas pump or an ATM or whatever.
That's the people that work at the gas station doing that shit.
Talking about like the internet and wireless stuff. So one of the areas where we're vulnerable at in our security is everyone that has those little iRobots and those Roombas and everything else. So once they go and do their updates, they're sending information back. Unless you opt out, they're sending information back via your internet connection.
That's an important point, and that's one of the things that when you're selecting devices to put up, when you're selecting devices to put in your home, and this is one of the things I don't like about that damn Ring doorbell craziness, right? The thing I don't like about it is that shit goes to the most vulnerable place in the entire world, Amazon. That shit goes straight to AWS, and AWS is the most vulnerable system on the planet because it's the most popular system on the planet, and people make their way to get into Amazon. What happens is when it goes into AWS, it goes into that particular lane where they have Ring and Bing doorbell, and those are like the least areas of vulnerable. So like I said, don't use your wireless setup for your cameras or any of your as your primary needs. Those are all secondary setups. So usually I see somebody talk about their mesh network, right? So when you rocking with your mesh network, right? Usually you have your service provider gives you a wireless router, right? The service provider gives you a wireless router. You plug your mesh network into your wireless router, right? But that wireless router still has its own wireless network. Don't run all your shit on the same network. In other words, you know what I mean? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you got your security, if you got all of your other computer shit that you punching 8 million passcodes into on your mesh, leave that shit on the mesh. Try your best to run your security on a separate network. In that case, I will run a hardwire security system that usually has power over Ethernet. Run it into a DVR recorder and have that DVR recorder hardwired connected to your internet router or your modem. Everything hard for your primary, and have a battery backup power in that, a big enough battery backup that you can get at least 4 to 8 hours into it. You see what I'm saying? So your security should be on your primary network, not on your mesh that you typing in and you got 8 million devices connected to your daggone Fire TV and your smart TV and your phone and everything else. Your security should be on a totally separate network that it's only focused on those particular security items. And the primary security should be hardwired, not the everything Wi-Fi. Anything else, guys? Add on? I'm sorry.
You know, y'all asses just lost me, right? I mean, because we didn't went completely the other direction on what the hell we were supposed to be talking about. We were talking about home security.
I'm talking about,
and now y'all didn't talk. No, y'all didn't took this shit to internet security and Wi-Fi security.
I'm talking about cameras.
But no, wait. Let's get back to what we were talking about: the home security, you know, security systems, stuff like that. You know, because now we're talking something completely different. That's another live. You see what I'm saying? So we can talk about the home. Now we can talk about the, you know, the Wi-Fi and all that stuff, the mesh network, you know, later on. Because if we start jumping,
we're not talking about the mesh network. I'm just saying the way.
Oh no, I know, but we were talking about all of it. So what I'm saying is just, you know, let's try and stick to the whole topic with the home security and the different things that people can use, you know, as far as, you know, just try and secure their house,
right?
You know, their home. You know, that's all I'm saying.
I was just saying how to layer. I'm sorry, Ray. I was just saying how to layer it to where the security is being served by one network and everything else is just on another.
Yeah, now if y'all want to boot me, I mean, because I saw Joe looked at me all side-eyed and shit. I'm like, God damn, boy, y'all just
Joe just got big ass eyes.
I'm wondering what the hell going on with y'all, man. Shit.
Yeah, I see. I got jokes, man.
Joe was 211 specialist in the past.
I see you, Armel 771, 2 Alpha Life, Ray Official, and Dude Knowledge got jokes.
The whole thing with the ammo for the cuss words, that shit is out.
Yeah,
I've tried it. I've already said this. I've tried it for the last what has it been? 3 weeks?
Yeah,
3 weeks of no cussing. I'm not going to cuss like I normally do, when I'm not up, when I'm talking to you guys just regular on the phone. I'm going to work on not cussing a whole lot. I think that's what we all going to do. But every now and then there's going to be a couple of them that's going to come out. So I just want to let everybody know. If you're looking for a Christian show, this is not the one. But we're going to do our best not to be, too vulgar.
Yeah. Hey,
so guidance suggested.
Getting back on topic, what Armel said about layering security efforts is absolutely, because if you only have one, say you're just rocking with the Ring camera, that takes care of exterior security from the aspect of you have a Ring camera system on your front door at the doorbell facing out. But what about your back door and what about interior? It's real easy to defeat a Ring camera system, right? A lot of houses now, they come pre-wired for internet and intranet. So one of the things too is instead of going broadband and digital over the air, have a system if you can to just get a router that does an intranet that's not connected externally. So that way it can't be hacked, right? Because it's not going out anywhere, self-contained. Cameras. Understand if you get interior cameras versus the difference between interior cameras versus exterior cameras, and whether cameras are motion detected, whether they're IR capable, and how those cameras can and will be defeated. So trying to think what else.
The cameras, for real, the cameras are one. It may be a little bit of a deterrent, but a camera is there to provide evidence or a record. It's a log, you know what I mean? And logs can be corrupted or whatever. But just in case somebody they see the camera, they don't give a crap. They roll on in anyway, and they end up in a trash bag somewhere because you did what you had to do. That camera is also going to be there as that log to show what happened. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but I don't know what criminals you hang out with, man, but that's Pee-wee League, man.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm coming there and you got a Ring doorbell up there, even though I know it's already, been notified you, I mean, hell, man, I'm just gonna rip it off the thing. All it is some.
Well, that's what I said. If you just got a Ring doorbell, that ain't enough, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not enough.
It ain't enough.
It's not enough. You need some cameras that's, placed at an elevation where nobody can come and, just rip them off. Now, yeah, there's different ways to disable the cameras or whatever, but these average criminals out here, they're not even doing that.
I ain't gonna cap, right? I got cameras in every room, above every daggone TV, because it's not just for home invaders or anything. I like to look at the camera and make sure I see what Zadie doing without having to breathe over her shoulder all the time. So above every TV in this house, there's a camera. And you can look at it as a security feature, but I kind of look at it as peace of mind. And a lot of these security features, like the night lights, when she move around, I can know where she at. The light to turn on because I don't need her falling down the stairs or something.
Oh, so basically what you're saying is you a peep freak.
Nah, it doesn't matter. It's my fucking house. I pay the mortgage here, bro. Ain't no privacy. Yo, as long as I pay this, as long as I pay for this, ain't no privacy.
Fucking
I got no watching your ass.
Yo, ain't no privacy.
Hey, yeah,
man. Hey, Joe, check it out. I know if I go to a Mel's house, I got to use the bathroom. I might as well go to the gas station.
That's the only place where it ain't nothing there. But guess what? It's a daggone door sensor on the bathroom. So I hear
shit, or Mel watching you take a piss in the shit.
Nah, man, that's the only place.
Hey, that motherfucker ate corn last night.
Cass will tell you, you can't, man. Listen,
oh fucking boy,
I'm telling you, I have to know. There's no free movement.
I know your situation is different, though, man. I mean, yeah, your situation is different.
See, so Armel, in that situation, you're not running all that stuff just strictly for security. You're running it.
It's dual purpose.
You have a requirement to do that for other things.
Yeah, it's dual purpose. It works for security as well.
Yeah.
So, it's good. And like I said, it's good for his daughter, to know what's going on and everything. I mean, like I said, his situation is different.
Well, see, so and again, your cameras and your setup can be done running one for security, then also for situational awareness. If you have a family member that's old, elderly, infirm, needs special attention or care. So again, that should determine your setup and your requirements. You can put motion detectors in there, motion sensors, everything else. Now, one thing also that aids in security and everything else, you have overt and covert motion sensors and stuff like that. So again, as you layer your security requirements, I put big cameras out, or I put cameras that's noticeable as a deterrent. But I also got cameras that's not noticeable, right? Because once you go and attack the cameras that's noticeable, you take a broom and you push it the other way, right? You push it out of focus. So you're not in focus, or you throw something over it, right? Now I can walk about freely. That's the one you've seen. You also got, the pinhole cameras that go in different things that give you a wide field of view so you can see everything. And those are activated either by IR, heat signature, or motion. So the best thing to do is to layer that security, right? Because it's real easy to walk into a room with a mask on and pull down that Ring camera that's inside and everything else, or go through your back door and hit it, because generally we face everything coming through our front door, right? We don't put things coming through garage doors or back doors or over at windows that's easily accessible. So say you got a room on the ground floor that's easily accessible to the outside via a window. You put everything in there that you can, and they still defeat it. But I still would like to know what's going in and what's going out via that. So that's one thing to think about,
Another thing that we're going to go over, and we've talked about a lot about this camera thing, but we want to talk about these locks as well. And Joe mentioned it earlier when we were briefing on the live about the lock picking kit, right? Locks, every lock has been defeated. You know what I mean? It's a lock is a delay, not even a deterrent. So being that locks can be defeated, and most of the time when you buy your lock, you throw the box that the lock came in, and you bought it from Home Depot or Walmart or Lowe's. You throw the box in, and they only made 10 keys for each of the daggone millions of locks that they made. All they got to do is get the number and call, and they got a key to your daggone house.
Yeah, they got a master key. You can
always got a master key to your damn house. And if you got one of these Kiwi sets or one of these, it's even worse. But it don't even matter. It doesn't even matter for real. The other side of this lock thing is, if they don't use a lock and they want to defeat your door, some of the weakest links is that deadbolt is only 1 inch. So to the door frame. So there's things about that and there's some weak point in the door that's on the other side of the door, which are the hinges. So yeah, there's a lot of little things that we don't pay attention to that ends up being weak spots in our home home.
Let me expound on that about the doors. So if we look at most of the doors that's on our front doors, they're not solid doors, right? So they're really easy to kick in or to hit with a battering ram, depending upon how you're going to attack it. If I'm just going to do a brute force entry, I'm just going to just kick down the door. I'm just going to kick at your door handle and everything else, right? When you go look at your door handle, just go ahead and look at the screws, because your door jamb, let's say your door jamb is like 1/4 of an inch, right? And then most of the times they only use 1.5 inch screw to put that female portion of the locking mechanism of the lock into that door and that door jamb. So instead of having it anchored by a really solid wall and really good screws, it's just holding on by maybe 1/4 inch of a screw. And that's really 2 kicks or just 2 hits with a battering ram. Or also I can get a hooligan device and just pry it open. Steel frames. Yep. Boom. Exactly, Siege. At that point, if I go up against a steel frame and a steel door and I go to defeat it, I'm going to go to the outside of that steel frame and see what that's made out of. Right now we're not talking about your everyday practitioner 211 stuff. Now we're talking about a good old dynamic breach with kinetics. So that's Siege. I love you for that, man. So much fun. Put breach her up. Boom, got him. So your door frames, same thing goes with your windows, right? So it's real easy to break into a window and everything else. If you go in, you got the window sliders and everything else. One thing too about doors, and this goes for hotels and some other doors, they can be defeated based on the type of lock you got. If you have one of those numeric key locks that go with the numbers and everything else, you can defeat those because, again, they have a default recovery code in them, right? And 9 times out of 10, you can go to the company website, put in some BS credentials, and you can get all the default codes, the safety codes to unlock them.
Easier than that. On most of those codes, when you take the cover off, the front cover off, the default code is on the back of the damn cover.
But that cover is on the inside of the house. That covers on the inside of the house. So unless you go to the store and you get one that's similar to it, you can look at it and then just do that. You can do a brute force attack on it. With doors, right? We got these fancy doors. They got a lot of glass panes and everything else in them. Be careful because it's not uncommon for someone just to break that glass out of your door, stick their hand through it, and then unlock it. That's when probably having a good dog would come in. Dog's going to get something to eat. Windows, right? Just knock a pane out the window. Get a glass cutter, cut it out. You can knock a pane out the window, and you can do that really quietly and everything else. So that's where you layer your security. You know, you're layering it with cameras, you're layering it with motion detectors, you're layering it with anti-intrusion devices, and that can be a motion detector, broken glass indicators, all that good stuff.
Broken glass detector, yeah.
Yeah, and also before we even get into the house, let's secure the outside of our house. So again, I got all these shrubs and everything else. There's good plants and shrubbery to have, and there's bad plants and shrubbery to have. And there's good locations that have that. If I got some prickly bushes and everything else, that's great. But I got a window that's really easy to get into. It's on the first floor. And I got those bushes 1.5 feet away. Now, what that just did was that provides me an opportunity to get in between there without really getting scuffed up by those prickly bushes. And it affords me cover. Right? No one can see me sitting in there. They think it's a big ass chipmunk or whatever. So be careful about that. If you got bushes like that, put it straight up against the facility.
And put lights in front of it. That's something else. Because the light, if you put a light in front of your shrub and somebody goes over the shrub, it produces a shadow.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's something that you can visually see. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of little layers to it. And another thing that Joe may have missed was these sliding doors or these sliding windows, like say our deck doors or our doors to our backyard, our background. You know, the doors that go to our patios or our back doors or whatever, the sliding ones. Like a lot of people, I see. If you just put that little flimsy lock that they have on it, that thing that slides up and down, the easiest way for a person to defeat that is just grab the handle and lift it up, and it'll lift itself up off the door latch. You know, those are like, thank you for letting me in your house. But the best way to defend that is to make a door jam. You know what I mean? Something that you can remove. A lot of people use those. I don't like the ones that slide down that just holds, because you can just break the glass and pull that damn thing up, or you could just lift it up and that thing will vibrate the hell up. The best ones are probably in the upper area where it's locked in on the upper or the very lower. So that way it's glass, knowing it's glass, that they will defeat it, especially if it's a really inexpensive glass. They will be able to defeat the glass, but you want, when those cases where you're dealing with glass, you want to slow them down as much as possible.
Yeah.
You want to slow them down as much as possible.
And even with the one that's that comes down over the door and the glass or whatever, even with that, now if you have one that has a lock on it, that's a little better. But just one that where all they can do is just lift it up or whatever, yeah, I mean that defeats the whole purpose, you know. Yeah. But if you have one with a lock, you just put that lock on it and just go from there.
Yeah, those the traditional standard window locks that you just go like this and lock them. All you gotta do is kind of like shake the windowsill and them.
Oh no, I'm talking about the door.
Oh, the door. Oh, the door. Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
The door. Yeah, those little slidey locks, those are shits for the patio sliding doors. Them shits is trash.
Yeah, and then also speaking about that, speaking about patios and everything else, like your decks and your patios. A lot of people have privacy fences. Privacy fences is good because all you rich people got that shit and everything else. But
I got
privacy fences.
It's called woods.
Yeah, privacy fences afford me the opportunity to work undeterred and unfettered, and really concentrate and to get in, because a lot of times we will take for granted, especially in the spring and the summer, we'll leave windows open that go to the patio and stuff like that. So once I get past your privacy fence, you build it, you got enough privacy out there, protect yourselves from your neighbors, because we all know Armel's a peep freak. That gives me unfettered opportunity to work, right? And again, right now when you start looking at stuff, it doesn't take long for most people to defeat locks once they know what they're doing and everything else. You can order the lock picking sets and the master keys online. And you can breach that in under a minute, realistically. I'm talking like 15 seconds, And then also, if you know anything about lock mechanisms, like you got 5-key, 7-key, or 5-pin, 7-pin, stuff like that. And it's just a matter of lining those pins up. So what you do is you put a blank in there, then you bump it. And it pushes the teeth up and it puts everything in the line. And as you're bumping it, you turn it and they fall into the tumblers. And that's a little bit oversimplified, but that's pretty much all you do. Another way to defeat that is make sure that on your doors where the bolt goes into the cross latch and everything else, that's facing the right way, because you get that little smooth edge that kind of comes around like that. So you can put something in there to shim it and to create space, and then you can open it. Because if I can get shims into your door, I can create space and defeat that lock. I can just push that little latch in, not the latch, but the bolt that comes out. Especially like the bottom ones that come out, you can do that. That's real easy to do. And then everyone's like, oh, bullshit, you can't do that. Here's one thing you can do. Once you expose that deadbolt, just go ahead and take a drill or take something and put it in there and push it back. It automatically unlocks. You require a little bit of time for that and everything else, but it can be done. But yeah, so make sure you layer your stuff.
One of the things that I've learned when I was growing up in Brooklyn back in the days, we kind of like left the doors open, unlocked, in the neighborhood. And it may sound fucking strange, but we left the doors unlocked until everybody got in the house. When everybody's in the house, like, yeah, we're Armel, where's Damien, where's Kel, where's this, where's Tezzy, where's when everybody's in the house, that's when it's locked down. Click, locked down. But until that point, like a lot of the doors was open, or we just maintained a lower door because we didn't want to lock us. We may need to run in the egress to the house, so we didn't want to lock ourselves up. I'm only saying this because the home security, when you're in the house, you and your family are the most important people. Forget about all the things that you have in there. When you're in the house, that's when the house should be the most secure. Doors locked. And one of those things are reinforcing that deadbolt, reinforcing that door, putting wedges even in the bedroom doors. This is going to delay. It's not so much going to deter, but it's going to delay the entry to give you time to wake the hell up, get your stuff together, and address the issue. So door wedges and stuff like that works for that. Very inexpensive things. Another thing is the door locks. I wouldn't suggest that anybody go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy door locks because, like Joe said, 2 minutes be defeated. The best place to probably get door locks is consult with the locksmith, and they don't cost that much. Maybe like $100 to key you a doorway. And I would advise that you spend the extra money to get like locks that are more difficult to defeat. They still can be defeated, but something like a multi-lock, something called the multi-lock. Those are the flat blade locks with the channels and the dots in them. They're a little more difficult. Somebody got to be educated to defeat them because you got to do too many little things, and you got to be really good at picking locks to do it. It takes like master locksmiths about 3 minutes to do it. It takes the average retard that watch a YouTube video a very long time. You know what I mean? A multi-lock, it's too many different things to do at the same time. It's like doing a dance. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to push in pins and tumblers, put pressure and turn.
Yeah, it's too much shit for the average everyday idiot to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It can be defeated by somebody who really know what they're doing. Yeah, these are multi-locks. Yeah, but somebody who know what they're doing, they can defeat it relatively fast. Like a master, like somebody who's been picking locks for good, they can defeat it relatively fast. For the local everyday idiot, it takes them a real long. It's too much doing. It's too much doing shit at the same time. Yeah. And I would recommend though a locksmith with a license to do your keyways.
And a bond.
Yeah, and a bond.
Yeah.
A licensed locksmith. And usually locksmiths that are licensed for multi-locks, they have their own keyways. That means when they dead, it ain't no more. You know what I mean? They key their own, they have their own pin setup, their own licensing that they can't share. You know, so but yeah, I would recommend those more than anything.
Hey, so speaking of locks, right? So everyone that has storage sheds and sheds out in the back, and they put those locks on there and everything else, upgrade your lock game, because most locks, the way locks were made and designed, they haven't changed in over 100, 150 years. So if you got like these master locks and everything else with the little hook on it and the cutout and the ball, that's you're just asking for someone to take your stuff, and you can literally defeat that with a piece of a soda can, a good old shim. And the funny thing is, a piece of a soda can bent the right way, a shim can probably defeat what 80 to 85% of the locks out there, Armel.
Yeah,
because they're all made. That mechanism is all the same way. I'm not talking about going in and picking through the key. I'm talking about where the shank and the ball goes into, and all it is just creating that space, pushing it and pulling it.
Yeah, I could probably do it. The average padlock with the wrench and a screwdriver.
You could do that too. Yeah, you can put the
space.
Yeah, torsion and torque on it, and then it's dropping that shim down.
Use its own torque use its strength against it.
Yeah.
And don't let a person get their hands on some kind of refrigerant.
Woo! Freeze it, hit it.
Hit it. That's it.
Well, hey, so remember back in the day with the clubs, right? I heard tell people would go get aerosol cans, turn them one side down, and spray it right on that locking mechanism, and then hit it with a hammer. It's that little spring.
And getting their hands on a refrigerant isn't as hard as you think, because the best refrigerant you can generally find at Home Depot, and it's called CO2.
Yeah.
That carbon dioxide, freeze it, you just hit it, with the carbon dioxide one time, and the shit will shatter like glass.
Well, so here's the deal about that, right? There's two things about physics that's true, thermodynamics. Whenever you compress a gas, it heats up. When a compressed gas decompresses, it freezes, it gets cold. That's how you make winter snow and everything else. So you can literally go to one of these sports stores and get one of those CO2 canisters for paintball, hit a hole in it. You go get butane, turn it upside down, and do the same thing.
Propane, ammonia,
yeah.
Like, god damn, it's just I
Go
can't
get a
even-
block. Hey, go get a block of dry ice if you got time.
This
Nitrogen.
This is it'll shatter like it shatters like plain glass, bro.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah. So then also, with that being said, with your locks and your lock mechanisms, if you got one of those individuals that's highly motivated and is going to spend some time to go get, some gases that will freeze stuff, they can just put that on your lock and hit it, and it will freeze all the little springs and pins inside of it, and it's a done deal at that point. So layer your security.
And remember, it's just to delay and get space. Give yourself time and space. You know what I mean? That's what the security is. It's not to stop shit, because it can't stop a motivated person.
Yeah.
The only thing stop a motivated person is a motherfucking the blicky. Multiple shots. You know what I mean? That's it.
Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yes, sir.
That's it. You know what I mean? But only that's the last option, the final option. So you got to create layers to that. So it's like, yo, when the policeman come and he said, well, he came through here. He really wanted to get in this piece. So I want to make sure he didn't leave once he got in. You know what I mean? His motivation killed him.
Yeah. Well, and that's and it's you're always behind the power curve because you play by rules, criminals don't, and you just have to keep that in mind. So you have to make yourself less of a target and less attractive of a target.
Yeah, these are hardwired security cameras that he just put on, and as you can see, it has a hard drive with 1 terabyte. What happens is when it gets past that 1 terabyte, it starts to loop. 1 terabyte, if you don't have it at the ultra high reading level, should last about a week or two, depending on the resolution that you have the camera set at. Now, I don't think resolution makes that much of a difference, but that's personal preference.
Yeah, because I mean, you see a lot of them now that's selling 8K cameras and stuff like that, and asking for a premium price. If you got a 1080 or what is the 2K, I mean, you're still good.
The problem I have with the high resolution is the light absorbent that it gets, the amount of light that it gets, it blurs out license plates. So sometimes you want something with something like a 1080 is fine, because that's not like super clear. So if a house rolled by, if they coming into your house and loading shit up, you want to at least get the license plate and not have your camera obscure the plate number, so you could do a follow-up or something. So sometimes the resolution is not the super high dope 8K stuff is not ideal.
Yeah.
Well, also with that right there, right, you want to make sure you got a wide enough field of view so you can have those
Facts.
have the cameras interlocking so you don't have any blind spots. One of the things that a lot of people do is they have gaps in their coverage, and you can just walk straight on through, and it affords you a lot of time to work.
Facts.
Yeah, Skilly, I mean, you can get that this set right here pretty much at anywhere, man. You can get it at Costco's, Target, just different places.
I wouldn't spend too much money on it, because this with electronics, as you know, this stuff outdates itself fast.
Yeah, but
and
I mean, something like that, you're gonna pay what, $300 for it,
$300.
maybe?
I wouldn't pay
Yeah.
more than $400 for it.
Yeah.
Armel, you don't want to pay for anything.
I wouldn't.
Nah,
you know
hell
what I mean?
no, Mr. Budget.
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't no
But
budget.
this will help Skilly, because what, Skilly had that what was
And
that,
this
Ring
is free,
doorbell?
Skilly. You buy it one time, bro. No service fee.
So, but seriously, speaking of that, right? One of the things you can do a mashup, right? Just get yourself a DVR and you can run it off of hard drives and everything else and change them if you want to go back and look at stuff. Just depend upon what you're securing. But get something that you can expand and upgrade. Don't get something that's just solely dedicated, and once it goes through its defined obsolescence, you're just stuck with something that is no longer supported or anything like that. So that's one thing you have to look at. Your budget, always consider what your budget is, and you have to take that in consideration and balance between money and capabilities.
I like this kind of setup as like a primary security system setup because it's closed. It's completely closed. Now, something like this, what you want to look for is something power over Ethernet. That way, that the power is coming from the box and it's going into thing from the camera to the thing, and this thing is powering the camera, and you got this plugged up into a backup system.
You have some type of upsets as far as backup power for it.
Right. You have some kind of backup power for it, so that way you're good. But look for something that's power over Ethernet. And another thing is it's closed. It's a closed network, so it's closed loop. It's like your own personal CCTV. You see what I'm saying? That nobody doesn't have access to because it's just going locally to there.
Yeah. Hey, also, if anyone's wondering, Armel helped set up the Diddy files. So he did Diddy's in-house cameras.
Nah, I didn't do Diddy's in-house camera, but what happened when I was in New York, and this is no cap, right? I was in New York, right? And I needed to make some money, right? So the local neighborhood dude said, Armel, you know how to set up these doors? And I said, yeah, I know a little bit about that, man. He said, man, they taught you all that stuff. I said, all right, I charge these cats astronomical amount of money. And when them boys came in, they had the devilish time getting in, bro. When the good guys came in to try to get in, they had a devilish time to get in. So it works.
Armel got the Diddy files.
Yeah, man. So
that's that floodlight. We were talking about the floodlights earlier.
Yeah, this is a floodlight camera. The floodlight cameras, and like I said, I have one here. And look how much I paid for it. So the floodlight camera is dark spaces. Darkness is your enemy. So if you can light up as much angles around your perimeter, it's at your advantage. It startles people as well. Like somebody's walking on, the light comes on. It'll cause them to turn around. And with this particular one, it has an intercom on it. So if you see something, you could, what's up? You looking for something? Amazon dude, leave it at the door. What do you want? No soliciting. So the light will come on. You can speak through it. I kind of like this setup.
Yeah. One of the downsides to it is that a lot of these require subscription, as far as for the history, to have a backup history, so that's the only downside with a lot of
with those particular cameras. If I could show you it, you don't actually need a subscription. You have a SIM card, not the SIM card.
SD card. If you have one with a SIM card, that's going to record,
and you can connect it. Then we got to get into the network service again. There's another piece that could go with it where it streams when you use Zigbee, and it'll stream everything to a network box where it stores the memory, memory drop.
So Armel, one of those things right there, right? Remember when I said about a closed network and the internet
protocol? But I didn't want to get into that. Ray said don't get into it.
Yeah, you can actually set that up to go and push it to your own storage that you
To your
have
own storage. You don't
close by, right? Because
and that's why I
remember,
like this brand.
if you're doing the 82011.g or whatever the protocol is, you can push that to your storage shed and have it in there on the backup with you know, a duck owl that's a solar battery that's running it. One thing about having the microphones, and so if you're gonna have cameras, I would highly suggest you get one that has audio. So not so much as you talking to them and interrogating them, but you being able to listen to what they're saying. And that's key because we've seen so many times where people roll up, knock on the door, hey, it's the police, we need you to come out. It's the police, yada, yada, yada. You can hear that background chatter and be like, that don't sound like no police. Or when someone comes up and you get that notification, someone's at one of your entryways, you can listen to what they're saying, which is a big deal because now a lot of times, you know, you'll hear certain things and everything else, and you know it's about to be on, or you know it's just someone that got the wrong door, or it's your pizza. You know, don't clap the delivery driver.
And Amazon deliver late as hell too. You know, Amazon deliver up to 10 p.m. around here. So yeah, but
what was I getting ready to say? The other thing too, like Joe was saying, where you can have it back up to your own device or however.
Right.
Certain ones, like the Google or the Amazon ones, will not allow you to do that.
No, they're proprietary.
Yeah,
they want that money.
Will not allow you to do that. So you have to do your research before you just jump into it and say, hey, I'm going to do this with it. Nah, do your research and you'll know which ones will allow you to do it.
Yeah. They're proprietary and they want their money. And it's even some of them. So you have to understand, right? You have what's called third-party consent. And once it goes to there, you don't own that anymore. So you have to request it and then do this. Depending upon your subscription, they may give it to you. They may not give it to you. That's why if you got the capabilities or you stay up late at night, do some due diligence and research, you can build your own system custom made for you.
And you can do it for free. It's use a protocol called, if not this, then that, IFFT. And that shit ain't even hard to just program your smart system. So Amazon, Echo, Alexa ain't reading all your shit, ain't sending your shit to China. You know? If not this, then that. I think a lot of them have not the Blink or the Ring, but this is the protocol. It says IFFT. That's a protocol where you can program your smart devices to go to a local server. You can use it or program it to work for you, not for them. Door stops.
Door stop alarms. Those are good for your house, but even better for a hotel if you go to a hotel and stay there. Because most hotels have that I think it's what like a 1-inch gap up underneath the door.
Yep.
So that's good to put up underneath there, because like you were saying, you go to a hotel, somebody can easily, use that keypad or whatever they have and get into there. You have something like that. That's going to not only alert you, but that's going to also alert the people around you.
Yeah. And it's crazy. One thing about hotel rooms and the gaps under the doors, most of the hotel rooms got the deadbolts, but as soon as you take that handle and you turn it down, it opens up automatically. That's why they have that little latch thing with the ball on it. So one way to defeat that is get a two-piece piece of aluminum or bend one of those old curtain rods into a 90-degree angle, slide it under, and then turn it up 90 degrees and then turn it back down. And you can actually unlock that door from the outside. And it's not that hard. It is not that hard.
The thing I like about door wedges, so back in the days when they used to do the trap houses, the crack houses or whatever you want to call it in your geographic region, when them boys come with the battling rams, they usually hitting where the deadbolt is, right? But that's the center thing. The wedge at the bottom is still stopping them. So they basically got to rip the door off the hinges in order to get past a simple as 1 inch, 1 or 2 inch wedge.
Yeah, well, it's a piece of rubber. So the cool thing about that is that creates an additional barrier to get through, because once you hit the door, it's not going to swing on the hinges and open up. You actually have to take the door and knock it down.
Knock it down.
Yeah.
You got to knock it down. And with these particularly, I think these are like $18 with the alarm on them. These are used when you're in the house, not when you're leaving the house. When you're in the house, you put the wedges in the front door or whatever door swing open, and you rest comfortably, knowing that somebody's gonna have to do a lot of work to get in.
Well, so another cool thing about those is it has an audible alarm. So if someone comes in and they're good with their skills and their crafts, they don't make any noise getting in. Once they push that up, it's going to activate the alarm. So that should give you some time to react, because that door, depending upon when you place it, you can place it to where if you place it towards the edge of the door's only going to open up maybe about 6 inches. Before
he says place furniture in front of the bedroom windows and mirror dressers or armoire. I don't know if the furniture is a good thing, because that shit, especially the heavy furniture, once you hit it from the top, like if I'm coming through the window, hit it from the top, it usually tilts down real fucking easy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's such a good idea.
That's too much work, because when you place a dresser in front of the window, that's just helping me get out that window on my way out.
Yeah, man. I don't know if that's such a good idea. You know what I mean? But I don't know, because them dressers tilt over like nothing. That's why them little cheap IKEA ones, you got to anchor them to the wall. But the heavier ones are even worse.
Yeah, but the thing is also, but you got to think about it. If you have a dresser in front of a window, and depending on where it's at, they push that, you're going to hear it. It's not going to be a silent small fall or whatever. You're going to hear that falling.
Okay, that's true.
So,
that's true. But
yeah,
on the other
that's
side,
one of the points. So the same thing with a bed. Now, a bed is a little different, because if somebody comes in a window or whatever, and there's a bed right there, yeah, they can kind of go over the bed frame or whatever, and be on the bed and still get in there. But if there's a dresser, yeah, they push that dresser over. You're gonna hear that shit.
So what about in an emergency where you need to get out of the house?
The hell, you do the same thing. You push that damn thing to the side.
All right.
I'm not gonna sit there and say, "Oh man, I can't go."
I don't know about
that's
something that some people think about, and we could probably debate it, but I don't really know about the furniture in front of the thing, man. I think you might as well just put some jacks in front of the window, some nails.
Look, the same way I feel about them kids is how I feel about that furniture.
For real.
All right, what's next on our little slide? The door reinforcement locks.
Yeah.
Now I have these on pretty much all my doors in the house, and they're an extra added security, piece of security as far as I'm concerned. Now you push it enough or whatever, yeah, you're gonna get in. But it's just like with the door jamb. It's gonna take a little bit for them to to get through it. They're gonna have to hit it a couple of times.
The key to this is use long ass screws when you install them.
Don't use the screws that came with it. Get some long ones.
So one of those things, and this is a fact, anything that you're going to put a deadbolt, one of these, and some other things, if it's going to go into the door and the door frame, make sure your screws are long enough to go actually into that reinforcement 2x4, whatever they're using as your centerpieces.
Go into the stud
to anchor into the frame, and not just merely have a little bit of an inch or whatever in there. Because just with a little bit in there, I'm just going to kick it out. And you spent that money and took that time to put it in there for nothing. And a lot of times it's not really like the locks that fell, it's the door jambs, because the screws aren't going through the door jambs into the studs or the frame. It's just cosmetic. Also, if you move into a house or apartment, change out your locks and your keys.
Call a damn locksmith.
All right, what's next?
Same thing.
Door reinforcements.
Okay.
Dormel, speak on this if you know about it, or Joe.
A lot of
I
it we were just covering with the other things. So with our door jambs, with your deadbolt, right? So you want to have a deadbolt that has long screws in it, where you what they call the door latches. You want it to have long screws going into it. But another thing besides the long screws, is the material. So you want to have a material that's strong enough, or a design that encapsulates that deadbolt. So the deadbolt is enforcing it, and as you can see with these, it's enforced on the sides as well.
Yeah. So right there, your door shields. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
A lot of times those two screws are really short and shallow, and that's a weak point. That's one point that people will attack. Your jam shields, excellent, because there's always that space in between those doors, because we're not in a level 1 facility where everything's locked down tight. So just keep that in mind. Also look at the material that it's made out of, because again, it doesn't do me any good to go get this high-speed stuff and then use some 19 cents a piece galvanized interior wood screws.
Yeah, here you go.
Skilly says some 5-inch screws. I don't think 5-inch screws would be 5-inch screws would probably be bad, because a 2x4 is only like an inch and a half. A 5-inch screw would probably split the damn 2x4.
No, because you're going through the wide way. So if you was to put it in there, so generally like your 2x4 is like.
So in the door jam, you're gonna have 2x4s meshed together.
Right? Yeah.
Right. So that's about 3 inches. You wanted to go through there. Depending on the screws that you use that old bootleg. You send the screw too far through, right? All the way through. The weak part of the screw is the head. That means that the smooth part that's not threaded. That shit breaks off. It shears. So you want the teeth, the grab the meat, as much of the meat as possible. So like a 3.5-inch screw, that's all the way through. That means it's only going to have like a 1/2 inch of shearing area of the shearing area. Or if it's threaded all the way through, it's fine. It should be fine. No.
Yeah, if you look at this right here, I mean, this is showing you, you have the door, you have the door frame, and then you have the studs, and that, just like you were saying, those 2 studs right there that's framing the door. So what you want is something that's going to go through those studs.
Yeah,
that's going to secure it even more, because the ones that you get, those are just basic, screws or whatever. So you want some good screws, and you want something that's going to be threaded all the way from the tip to the end, to the head.
Yep.
Oh, hold on. All right, the sliding window locks. What were you saying about these earlier, Armel? What do you do with yours? Nope.
Yeah, so he said on these, well, he's back. There you go.
Yeah, I'm getting cursed out. So I had to put the thing on mute. So with these locks, right? So if you see,
do not fucking smoke up here.
Okay.
Don't let me get because
Hey man, remember that episode of Chappelle's show when there was Marcy Projects, the World Series of craps, the World Series of dice?
Right.
Like,
anyway, this is
she gonna whoop his ass.
Anyway, right? So we can talk about these window locks. Like, say, for instance, if a person breaks the window and try to get the window, and this is a sliding window setup, but it works with the ones that come up and down as well. So what happens is you see how it has like a key, like an Allen key or something like that, a slotted mechanism. I usually leave the windows. I have these on my windows, and I usually leave it at a 6 inch, so that way, if it's in the kitchen or something, I can open it. I can slide the window like 6 inches. Anything a head can get through, the body can get through. So if a person's average head is probably about 7 inches or something like that. If they could get 7 inches in, 7 inches in, they could probably get their whole body in. So I usually set it back just so I can open the window, but the window is limited, has limited opening space. So but that's it with that. So I just kind of like lock it in at a particular height or opening space on both sides, top and bottom, and pretty much forget it's there. I can't even find the little security key that goes for it. I have to dig through the bit box to find it.
Yeah, I think that's good for if you have a small basement window or a small kitchen window or something like that. Putting that in there, and like you say, keeping like a 6 inch gap.
It works on the vertical window.
Oh yeah, those also.
Yeah, you just put them on there differently, man. But it limits the space that the window's open.
Home security system. Now, we were talking about this earlier too. The wired security system versus the Wi-Fi one. Now, this is good for, say, like an apartment, because I think I had this for my daughter when she was at an apartment. I don't know if it was a Simply Safe or it was something else, but when she was in college, went and set something up like this for her to help her to feel, a little bit safer. And plus, also, so we had a little bit more peace of mind on our end, but to me, which, you see a lot more of nowadays, is that they're all going to the whole Wi-Fi system, security system, and not doing the wired system. I prefer a wired system instead of a Wi-Fi system. And that's just me. What do you think, Armel?
I had Simple Safe. I still got it downstairs in a garage somewhere in a box. I didn't really like it. The reason why I didn't like Simple Safe was the subscription service. Simple Safe runs off a it runs off a cellular network. So it has its own individual cellular network. So the way this daggone thing works is you see what cellular service that you have the best signal from, and say if it's AT&T. So you get the AT&T, you put the SIM card in the big round hub, and it feeds that. And it acts as if it's a it acts as if it's a closed network, individual closed network. But the problem I have with it is it just costs so much, and it doesn't work very well. Like the cameras have to work off of an independent Wi-Fi and not the cellular service. It just doesn't have your security system should work together, not against each other. And with this particular system, I didn't think it worked well. It didn't integrate well. But that's my own personal experience.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Respond to what Siege was saying, and that's true. I mean, you think about it. Back in the days, I know my grandparents did. Man, they had what you call that? Those metal the metal things all over the windows and the doors and stuff like that. The
grills.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. I forgot what the hell they call it, man. And I'm telling you, that's how they kept us in the house, because my grandmother always had the key, so we couldn't even get out. So we'd come there for the summertime and stuff, and we want to go outside and play, and if it's too early or whatever, she ain't unlocking that door, man. So we stuck in the damn house. And that's the same thing. If there's a fire or something like that, say that person or whatever is incapacitated, hell, you ain't getting out if you don't know where that key is at. Your ass is stuck. So yeah, you can always be, have too much stuff to lock your house down and actually become a safety risk for you.
Yeah.
The hell Joe said, bars, you felon. Yeah, whatever, security bars.
Yeah, the bars. That shit, and then they try to decorate them back. Then they got the silver ones. They still, actually in New York, they still they still deal with that. But with those bars, I know later on when the fire department started checking the homes, when they converted all the homes to multi-families, to single family homes, they had to make sure that the bars had latches on them that you can push them open. You know what I mean? But
yeah, Joe got jokes.
I never liked those the prison bars anyway.
Nah, I ain't like it either, man. I didn't like it because my grandma kept us in the house, so I'm like, nah, that shit ain't cool to me. We wanted to go outside and play.
They got the nice looking ones, the stainless steel ones now.
Ain't none of them shits nice.
Shit. Huh?
Ain't none of them shits nice.
Yeah, because that's a staple in New York.
Got your ass locked up like it's Oz.
Yeah, that's a staple in New York. But they got. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. Electromagnetic locks. I think Joe had said something about that earlier. Now I've looked at these. I'm not sure exactly how the setup works. Still trying to, dig into it. As far as for my my main doors, I don't think that would be something I would use.
Well, I use these on my downstairs patio door. Now the downstairs patio door is a glass door. It's glass, and it has you basically
sliding door.
Sliding door.
Oh, double door. Okay.
They're double doors and they're glass. So what happens is if you want to break the glass, it has a Maltese lock on it. But if you break the glass and pull the handle up, you can pretty much unlock the door. So I use this on the one that swings open because you have to open the one that swings open first in order to unlock the one that's stationary, that's bolted in, that's double latched in on the top. So I'll put it on that door. So just in case the window breaks and they unlock the Maltese lock, they still have to defeat that. So it's just a little in order to open the door to get in. Because the door has like those cross things in it. So it's a little bit more of it's a lot of breaking to get in.
All right.
Go ahead. This is Joe. This is you.
Joe, go on. Talk about your defensive plants.
Joe
ass probably went to sleep.
Oh, he old as hell.
Whatever, man. Hey, so with your plants and everything else, it goes back to how we said your landscaping. Your landscaping could be used to enhance your security. It can also be a detriment to security. So again, with bushes, you don't want them overgrown to where you if you got first floor windows and everything else, to where you can't see into the windows if someone's behind it. If you got bushes, you don't want a whole bunch of offset in between the bushes in your building and your window that affords someone a place to hide, right? You want types of bushes that is going to, have thorns, be prickly, and all that other good stuff. You want to keep them trimmed, right? So you can see what's going on and everything else. You can see if something's out of place. Another thing with plants and all the shrubbery and everything else, you don't want to get it so much that it creates spots and blind spots or places where people can hide and get the jump on you as you're coming in or out of your house, right? Because if I want to break in, if I don't feel like defeating locks, I'm just going to wait for you to come in or come out. I'm going to push my way in. Plants are good. Depending upon the type of facility you have with plants and everything else, you can set barriers and offsets, because if you have one of those huge concrete planters, those things can weigh like 4,000 pounds. That will prevent a vehicle from coming up close to your building or facility, right? So they're not just decorative. Also, depending upon where you're at, if you got like these large planters that you see in buildings, those are bullet resistance. They will stop bullets. So I know that's not like personal security or whatever into the house, but that's one of those things. So like right here, right, easy access into that window, wide open, real easy day.
Easy in, easy out.
Yeah, easy day.
You don't want to make it easy for people to enter your home.
right? Remember, criminals are lazy. That's why they're criminals.
Facts.
You know, make them work for it. And that's it's pretty much about plants. You know,
a good plant would be a rose bush. So go ahead. This DC Money Mike in here, man. That's it. He got a dog like that.
Oh, that's his thing. The Cane Corso.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing. I mean, a good guard dog, and I mean a guard dog can be anything any dog that's gonna make noise. But the bigger the dog, as far as I'm concerned, I mean the better, because it's gonna be something that's gonna scare the shit out of somebody. You know, a little yappy dog is like an alarm system. It's gonna let you know that something is going on for you just to get up and go see what it is. But a big dog, a lot of times, I mean, most big dogs that I've seen, some of them make a whole lot of noise, but some of them just go and investigate what the hell it is and wait. And once your ass get in, that's your ass in.
Yeah, a dog is a good deterrent.
Hell yeah, especially a big dog, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dog is a good deterrent.
That's pretty much it for the little PowerPoint.
We could drop the link and see if anybody else got any ideas they want to add on.
Yeah. Dogs. Yeah. Dogs are great. Dogs are definitely great. Don't get one of those dogs that's going to bark a lot, and then as soon as someone comes in, it jumps in their lap and start licking them and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to give me a Cane Corso, but my wife is afraid.
Yeah,
hey man, get a Belgian. Get a Belgian Malinois.
No, she likes the little ankle biters, man. Those, she doesn't feel threatened by those. A big dog, nah, man, that's a no-go for her.
Hey, get a Belgian Malinois, man.
Anybody want to come in? They suggest a dog, a bush, a lock, a tree, their system. What works for them. Just hit that link. No, anybody come in? Skilly, tell us about your Ring doorbell. Your multi-million-dollar Ring doorbell set.
Shoot, man, Skilly probably went to sleep.
Skilly at work, bro.
Skilly at work, man.
Skilly at work.
Remember that Pointer Sister song, Work Hard for the Money? They was talking about Skilly.
Yeah, man, that Joker had jokes yesterday. I jumped on his live, said, "What's up, fellas?" And he gonna sit there and say, "What's going on, Ray, with your big head and all this other shit?" Man, that Joker was looking homeless yesterday. Braids undone, had a blanket wrapped around him, lights out.
That was Skilly live. I thought that was the Hot Tub Tony live.
Nah, that was Skilly live, but hosted by Hot Tub Tony.
Co-hosted by Hot Tub Tony.
No, not co-hosted. Hosted.
Yeah. Skilly just passed the mic to him.
That's it, man. But yeah, we need to get Skilly up. Skilly, I think, is maybe about 20 people short of 1,000. Look, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
And he still ain't got that hair done.
DC Money said, "Don't let people touch your dog, man."
Yeah, that'll be mean.
Well, it's not letting them be mean. It's just that, like, if you train them to be very familiar with people, they get into that modality. Someone breaks into your house, they'll come sniff their hand and they pat their head and they be like, "Hey, man, all the good stuff's over there."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for real too. Because a lot of burglaries, I'm not sure, and I'm really unfamiliar with this home invasion trend that's going around. But a lot of burglaries are performed by people that you typically know in your house.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? But this home invasion thing this trend is a little bit different and a little bit more than what I can identify to speak about.
Well, it's very big here in Detroit, man. We get a lot of that here. It's very big here.
I could say burglaries are just people who you probably know. But
yeah.
So what do you say, Skilly? What's going on in your world?
Nothing, man. I ain't working. That's it.
So how what do you think about some of the things we put out tonight?
Great information, man. I was thinking about getting a couple things for my door, so kind of got a crash course of what I need to start looking at. So I appreciate you guys for the information for sure.
Thanks.
That's the whole point, man. You know, try and share a little bit of information on different things.
Yeah, but like
You know?
for real though, I think out of all, work with what you got. The cheapest thing to do is to put good screws in it. Some 3-inch or better screws in those damn door jams for real.
Yeah.
Pull those screws out and put some new ones in.
And that's cheap. That's less than a couple of dollars. That's
Yeah.
That's cheap. You know what I mean?
You go to the local hardware store and get a box of 25 somewhere in there for about what, $5-6.
Take those little screws out and put some real boys and put the real ones in, man.
Yep.
You know, I would do that. You know, that's easy.
Start somewhere. Yeah.
First, you know what I mean? And that don't cost no change.
Yeah.
You know what
Hey,
I mean?
also one thing too, as far as like your outer physical security, clean up around your house.
Facts.
Right? Because, no, seriously, because like when you clean up around your house, you can notice if something's out of place, if someone used your trash can to look up through a window or stuff like that. You know, you'll notice like footsteps around, like you'll just notice stuff that's not supposed to be there, it's out of place. And there's right. So remember, your physical security is passive and active, right? Your active things are, you know, you got a dog, you got cameras that's visible and everything else. Your passive things are, if you're not in a room or your windows aren't open, you got those windows locked from the inside. All your doors that go to the exterior are locked and secured. They got, you know, the correct length screws going into the door jambs, right? Everything's not, you don't have one of those doors where it sticks, so you gotta shake it to open it up, right? So if it sticks and you gotta shake it to open it up, guess what you gotta do to open it up? You just gotta shake it, right? So fix that stuff, because a lot of times we make it easy for for people to get a lick on us. You know, if you go away, right, have someone clear out your mailbox.
Yeah.
Right. You know, be aware of, you know, people that's coming around, be like, hey, I'm Q, you know, I'm here. I do your neighbor's lawn across the street and everything else. I was just wondering if you want to do it. Say, hey man, first of all, we got no solicitation sign. And second of all, my neighbor's not named Sue. Right? Write that shit down. And then you go like, hey, Armel, does this kid over here, he came to my house yesterday, said he does your lawn and your extermination and everything else. And Armel's like, yo, I ain't seen that kid before, right? So those are tells, because that's one of those things that's how you finesse someone. It's like, hey, Skilly, how you doing? I do your neighbor's Armel's lawn, or, you know, who does your lawn and everything else. And you're going to sit down there and have a conversation, and because you don't know your neighbor, like Armel's not even your neighbor and shit. I just randomly threw a fucking name out there just to get you into that conversation, to glean information off of you. So you should be like, yeah, where does Armel live at? He lives across the street. Yeah, no, he don't. You know? And so it's just stuff like that you know, we don't understand. If you order a lot of food, right, be careful about letting people through that threshold of your house, because, you know, some people, delivery drivers, will case a joint. You know, because as I'm delivering your food, I'm looking at your door locks. I'm looking at if you got a lot of stuff in your front room and everything else. I'm checking it out, and the deeper I can go into your house, the more information I can find out what you have and what you don't have and how to defeat it.
Yep.
You know, so those are like those passive things and everything else. You know, yeah, but definitely clean up. Don't leave packages out. You know, try not to leave your Amazon deliveries and stuff like that. So that's just inviting me to come and take your stuff.
Yeah, get your neighbors to take and you know, come and get your mail or your packages or whatever. Have them do that.
Or just take that minor inconvenience of having your shit dropped off at a facility and going to pick it up.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Because if not, I'm gonna get you for your shit. I'm being honest.
Or with the post office, you can tell them to not deliver your mail. You can
Yeah,
get
they'll hold your mail. That's
They'll
what they
hold
said.
your
Just
mail.
go pick it up at the facility.
They'll hold your mail until you return. You can inform the post office with that. As far as the Amazon and FedEx, you usually know if you're getting something from them
Yeah, it's usually a date.
in advance, and you'll probably get a text, and you can
Yeah.
delay the delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so here's the hustle with that, right? As a motivated penal code 211 type guy, if I'm cruising in nice neighborhoods and I continually see packages stacked up at a certain house or packages stacked up at houses between certain hours, that tells me three things, right? It tells me they got disposable income, they're ordering shit, right? It tells me no one's home. That tells me no one's home minding their shit. That's ripe for the picking.
Yeah.
Another thing we don't utilize a lot of it. I know I'm not probably the main culprit. A lot of us don't utilize the garage for parking our cars.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know, and cars not being in the driveway is a telltale sign. You know what I mean? Cars not being in the driveway is a sign that nobody's home.
Yeah. Missing
and
cars or just anything missing out of your driveway.
Yeah. And that goes back to painting that picture of what's normal and everything else, a pattern of life, right? Because as I'm sitting on the spot and I look and I see, like I said, I know every day this individual goes and does this. It's routine. You know, I got it down to plus or minus 15 minutes, you know? So just vary that stuff. Sometimes just randomly leave your light on your front porch or randomly leave a light on in a room or something. It throws people off.
Mm-hmm.
True that.
No one likes to work for a look.
Yeah.
Except for Skilly.
Yeah. But sometimes just leave the house. Just one day, just get up and just leave the house. And don't be gone for so long.
Yo, now these fools sending pictures of dogs now.
Oh man.
They talking about their damn dogs now. I gotta get me a dog. I gotta get me a dog. But I just gotta I'm gonna go get me a mutt. I ain't gonna get me one of them fancy dogs. Give me a hood. I'm gonna get me a hood cat dog.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
So my boy just sent me a video. I'm gonna see if I can share this. It may or may not let me. I don't know. Have you guys seen this before I started?
Nah.
Yeah, he said this is some new thing they're trying.
It's gonna be I'm lost, car broke down, or I need help. Yo, turn up the volume, man.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know how you got anybody's phone here. You just come out and show you on my because I put a tracker on the phone. And my son. And no, and we're all adults. We don't have anybody's phone. Okay. So the scan is here, man. Just brand. He said, see, right? So, Google,
Get out of here. Hookah went live on Instagram.
Yeah, so I guess what they're doing is coming up there and trying to get you to open up the door, and the next thing you know, you have a group of them coming rushing your house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good old push-ins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was trying to be slick. I wouldn't open up my door neither. What the hell you
I don't
talking
know,
about?
man. I don't know. The way she was looking, I probably would open my door for her.
Nah, you better stop doing that. Stop
I
doing
just got. I feel like Ray or Mel. I got. No, man.
Look, I wouldn't feel sorry for your ass. Like,
Right.
so what'd you do, Joe? Well,
Yeah,
she was looking like she was okay. So I opened up the door and they got me.
I got. But see, that actually goes back. If you can bring that video up, and it goes back to what we say about like utilizing your house to your advantage and blind spots and choke points. So if you notice the way that camera was looking, it looks like as we was looking to the left, you had a blind spot where you really couldn't see anything
Yeah.
and who was around there. So now, if you got your system set up, you can go and monitor it and see if there's anyone stacked up on the corner ready
Yeah.
to come in.
Ready to come in.
That
Yeah.
makes any sense. So now I can utilize the terrain to my advantage. In this case, the house to my advantage with the way that I have my cameras pointed at. Now, a good practitioner of the art and life of 211 may have gone and moved it. So you can also go and look at camera number 3 is out of position or camera number 3 is being blocked. So that's one of those things.
Yeah, we were talking about
Yeah,
good
that makes
Wi-Fi.
sense.
Look like Joe doesn't have any.
Yeah, what's the name? Yeah.
Or even
multiple
cars on
camera
the street.
setups. Multiple
cars on
camera
the street.
setups. I'm sorry, Skelly. Multiple
No, you
camera
good.
setups.
Go ahead.
Multiple camera setups, and especially in high traffic areas, because you try to utilize as many angles as possible, is a good thing. Like I usually label the cameras. Like this is camera B. I usually label like A, B, C, D, and E, especially with the wireless cameras. I label them A, B, C, and D. You know, A, B, C, D through Z or whatever. So I can know, boom, at this camera, I'm seeing
Hey,
this.
Joe, real quick.
What's up?
Can you see Siege saying that?
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
smile on her
yeah.
face?
See, so then straight to the upper room.
And another thing, like you said, being able to see if there's any cars on the street that you don't recognize in front of your house, where that blind spot is.
Yeah.
Because they could be in a car just waiting.
Yep. Well, like I said, if you have a camera, I mean, she's right there at the front door. You sit there and can look at your camera that's showing that blind spot, and you can see if there's some other people over there and ask her, hey, well, who are all those other people over there's behind the thing? And what are you talking about? You know, I just call the police, and then they all take off running.
But that's one of those things that you utilize your system to your advantage.
To your advantage.
No one comes up there and you're not expecting anyone, no matter what they were saying or whatever. I couldn't tell the audio. But now I can look before I open that door and make myself vulnerable. I can look to see if there's anything out there we're not expecting, right? So I can look to see, if I have my stuff set up, I can get a good view of the street, right? And I got a good view of my property going from the garage to the driveway. And I got, all those blind spots are taken care of. And if someone's tampered with a camera, I can go and look on my feed, right? Because that's what I'm looking at. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I got you, So those are one of those things. Armel Blink, man. Armel looking like Clayton Bigsby right now.
I'm gonna tell y'all this. When I was looking for my house,
look like Uncle Ruckus.
I froze.
You
I'm
look like
gonna tell y'all, when I was
Bigsby.
looking for my house, I didn't want to attach garage. That was my biggest thing. I wanted a garage, but I didn't want to attach garage to my home.
Why not? For me, ask.
Because of the risk that universal garage openers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot easier to get into the home with that type of stuff. So I just didn't want to attach garage.
That's fair, man. That's fair. But so here's the thing about detached garage. If you utilize your garage or whatever, or you hear something that goes bump in the night, and you're one of those type people that's going to go out there and inspect something that goes bump in the night, thank you.
I understand.
So there's always a give and a take, you know what I mean, to anything. The attached garage is for convenience and everything else, but sometimes I forget to lock my door and I leave it open, or sometimes I think I put the garage down and there was something in there and it went back up and I closed it off.
Yeah.
Or you forget to lower your garage and your garage been open all night. So there's always that give and take to anything. So it's just like one of those things that we just have to do our due diligence and be mindful of. I'm not saying live in a paranoid state, but just be aware of some of the threats that's out there and how to best to mitigate them.
Normally what I do with mine, I don't leave until that garage is completely down.
Yeah.
And that's if I'm in my car getting ready to go somewhere or whatever, or if I'm getting ready to just shut down for the night. I make sure that garage door is closed. Then once it goes completely down, then I close the door and lock up or whatever, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
yeah, it's there's a lot to chew up and digest and think about it, because everyone's situation is different. We all got different factors. Do you have kids? So there's certain things that you might not be able to have a 12-gauge shotgun by the door because you got kids.
Mm-hmm.
Do your neighbors do weird things? So you may want to put security cameras on the backside of your property, because we're always talking about the front door and the driveway and everything else. What about the backside?
Back door,
back door and everything else. No diddy. It's easy to get in that way.
It's easier to get in.
Yeah, privacy fences, right? So as you're trying to work that lock mechanism on the back, depending on how your house is set up, your neighbors might not see that, right? Does your neighbors have dogs? They let their dogs out at night. You hear dogs yapping and yelling. Might be something out there. Can you go ahead and pull it up and see it and run it back? And then sometimes, it's nice to have a system where as you're watching it, you can run it back 5 minutes and see what happened, up until that point, if that makes any sense. Because now it's like, all right, that was just kids playing, right?
Yep.
Or that was someone that dumped someone off and they came from around the block, they cut through the alley, and they're stacking up to do something, waiting to get that lick.
Yep.
One of those things, like I knock on the door, it's just like, yo, hey, pizza guy, I got a pizza here. We ain't ordered no pizza. It's like, nah, hey, this is the address I got. And I'm standing up there in a delivery uniform from a local pizza joint.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 9 times out of 10, you're gonna catch a fool slipping. They might open the door.
A hungry ass motherfucker.
Got him.
They want a slice of pizza bad, boy.
Yep. Got him.
They want a free slice. Nah, but you just got to be wary. Sorry, you got the wrong house. You can't be that hungry.
Yeah, you can't be. Yeah.
No. Shoot. But, they come here at the right time. It's like free pizza. All right, I'll take it.
Man, put it on the porch. Man, if I find someone that delivers pizza to the park bench, it's a done deal.
Matter of fact, put it on the porch and get the hell on.
For real.
It's a done deal, man. It's one of those things.
Yeah, man. It's a hot Monday night, man. A lot of people went live tonight, and we still held it down, man.
Yep, we sure did, man.
We still held it down. We had 2A in LA doing ladies' night. We had MBR still on to support everybody. Thanks for coming on and supporting us, man. Showing us love. Tactical Skillionaire only almost at that 1,000 point. Let's get him near.
Appreciate you,
Skilly. You ain't subscribed to Skilly, subscribe to Skilly. You know what I mean?
If you ain't subscribed to Skilly, you don't know what you're missing.
Telling
You
you.
ain't gonna know what you're getting, but you damn sure ain't gonna know what you're missing.
It's Skilly at 977.
For real. So get on there and
It's
subscribe.
cold
Tactical
down here.
Skillionaire. Get on there and subscribe. Tactical Skillionaire, man. And if you want to see the rated R portion of Trinity Arms, you go to 2 Hour for Life. That's rated R.
Yeah, yeah.
Uncut.
Real fun over there. Tell you.
It's uncut. So yeah.
Very uncut.
So yeah, but I want to thank everybody in the community, man. Just yo, this is bigger than a gun. Stay safe, man. Be vigilant. And leverage everything at your disposal. If it's a pencil and everything. Like I was gonna mention this, our house plan, you know what I mean? Like get some graph paper and draw out all your entry and exit spaces, you know what I mean? Because fail a plan is planning to fail. You know what I mean? Just draw. A house is usually a box, and map it out. Think about ideas of how to secure your home and your property. You know what I mean? Just put it on paper.
Another thing is entering the home with that phone on your face. Cut that out.
Yep.
Yeah. And that goes back
awareness.
Yeah, your situational awareness. Your essay is like the utmost and number one, thing that you can do. And just if it doesn't look right, don't even go out. Just like that, man.
If it look like a duck, walk like a duck, talk like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Could be a platypus, but you know what? Close enough to a duck.
Something like a duck.
You cook it up just the same.
Yes, sir.
Just the same.
Yeah, but that's
all right. Well, I guess that's it for tonight, huh?
Sounds right. Sounds about right. Unless somebody else want to come in and talk some shit. But I'm going.
I was gonna come in here and argue with you and Ray because y'all got on mine Sunday and argue. So I felt
nah, that was hot tub. Took over your show.
I shut this shit
Hey,
down.
but let me tell y'all something. Have y'all ever been on somebody's platform where they take themselves out and let the whole panel talk amongst themselves? I think I'm the first person to do that on live.
Man, that shit was Hot Tub Tony show, man. You just passed the mic.
I don't think I ever seen nobody do that. Take themselves out their own show and let the whole panel be guests. I think I'm the only one that done that.
But your show is fun, Skilly. That's what I say. It's fun getting up there and talking with you.
Well, he must have tour in LA must have seen that because he letting the ladies run the whole show tonight. He ain't even on there.
Oh, he ain't. Oh well, that's second person did it. Okay.
Yeah, he must have seen your show. He's biting your style a little bit.
Yeah, shit. Maybe we'll do that. We'll have a Skilly night. Yeah,
that'd be dope.
Tonight is Skilly night.
That'd be dope.
Let Skilly run all this shit.
Let Skilly do it, man.
Yeah, that's it. Shit.
Skilly done it. What you gonna talk about, Skilly? Give me some ideas, man.
I don't know. What we gonna talk about? Having great friends.
You know what? Hey,
having great friends around you. That's
we just gonna have Skilly give us a tour of his work environment.
There you go. See, I can show y'all some police cars. I can show y'all
some stay there so much. We're gonna have him give us.
Hey man, we gotta have a day in the life of Skilly.
Yeah.
Hey, that's gonna be the work edition, y'all. That ain't gonna be regular home. That's gonna be.
I mean, hell, man, Skilly is just a 2-hour show because all you do is work and go home. That's it. You know?
What do we all do?
Hey, is Skilly gonna be like the Uncle Ruckus episode? I left my fifth job.
Uncle Ruckus, the crossing guard, the dad going everything, man. He a cafeteria maid.
That's what I used to work valet a couple of years ago.
I bet you y'all don't know where Tommy work at. Y'all don't know where Tommy from Martin work at, though. Where Tommy work at?
Tommy Strong.
I don't know. They never told us where Tommy worked on Martin.
Tommy was a drug dealer, man.
No, he wasn't, man. Drug dealers don't work from buildings. They don't work in white buildings.
Nah, but Tommy knew everybody, man. He had that weight. He knew
everybody. All right, time to go, man. 149. Time to go.
So, all right, we out of here. Y'all take it easy. Thanks for coming by. We'll see y'all next week.
Later.
Hey, thanks a lot for hanging out, guys.